So let's go ahead and do a dictionary with an abbreviation. We're also going to do a true-false and introduce you to spanning. Sometimes we have to put commands in multiple lines. I want to show you the basics on spanning. And after that, I'm going to start going to some advanced functionality. So I'm going to continue down this path.
Hey Garcia, quick question. So do we have to follow and write what you wrote?
No, you don't.
Okay.
I'm just showing you the basic syntax.
Okay.
And at the end of the day, I'm going to show you where you can find all my presentations and all the files, okay?
Okay.
Also, you'll have access to that digital courseware. So our goal is that it will be there until you don't want to use it anymore. So let's go ahead and continue where we left off. So what I'm going to show you right now, I'm going to create a dictionary, not unsimilar of the one I created with my fruits up here, but I'm going to create this dictionary using an abbreviated representation of what I want to do. So I'm going to use both dictionaries. I'm going to use the dictionary for my fruits, and I'm going to use the dictionary also for my employees. So I'm going to start with the fruits. And then I'm going to go ahead, and between brackets I want to go ahead and specify my array. So I'm going to say apple, and then I'm going to say oranges. Sorry. Make sure that when you choose your quotes that you do single quotes, and if you place them incorrectly, delete them so the system can actually generate them for you. If not, that might create some syntactical errors that you will have to correct. And then so again, this is just in a standard array type. I'm just abbreviating my list, so it's a list. I can create this also with a key value pair. So I can create a dictionary with a key value pair. So I'm going to do that now, and I'm going to use Martin. Actually, I'm going to use Carry. So I'm going to use Carry. You see Carries right here already. And I'm going to use this between parentheses because I'm going to use a key pair, and I'm going to say name, and it's going to be Carry. And then at that point, notice that I have the name and the value, and I'm going to say job, and then I'm going to enter the job, which is developer, and then finally I'm going to I think the last one that I said is skill sets, right? Yeah, skill set. And then I'm gonna say, no, actually, yeah, I'm gonna put expert. There you go. So we have period, carry, period, developer, skill set, expert, the skill is there, developer, job. Oh, job is wrong case. So now we have job, there you go, it matches. And then we have carry. There you go, it matches carry. Let me make sure. Carry, it matches, good. And Apple, okay. So that should be fine. Now I want to do something right here. Okay. And I still have a problem here, guys. Ansible does not really use the true false, but you can specify in YAML a Boolean value, true or false, in a form. This is not utilized a lot in Ansible, but it is something that is within the YAML, and if you put it into your YAML, it should be okay. So again, yeah, most of the people that write YAML are not developers, so they don't like to add this complexity to it. However, the following examples that I'm going to give you can be used in a survey form, and I use them myself because they make it easier for the surveys to make conditional decisions. I can create this case scenario where I can say, if option A exists but option B is not present, then do something else. In this case, I would say if something is true and then the second value is false, I cannot have a true false. I must have a true true. So at that point, I can go to a playbook where I install IIS, for example. It is true. This is a web server, and it's true. IIS is installed, and that true true then can allow something to happen, another play. So this is of benefit without using full conditional constructs. This is beneficial construct that you can do in several different types of form. So the first one here, let me go ahead and document it. Ansible does not use this, or it is not common. YAML behavior in Ansible. So I'm going to say create a key. Okay. I say yes. Now, for example, in this scenario, why do I use this? Well, let's say that I have the problem with WinRM and there's no certificate on the target. So in my form, I'm going to give the user, I'm going to detect WinRM is there. I don't detect any certificate. So now I'm going to have the user, do you want to create a certificate? Now, is yes or no? So if he chooses yes, then I would do the play that goes to the certificate server and assigns the certificate, etc. How would that be of value to you, you think?
Security.
Yeah. The second one, guys. I know that Ansible is agentless, but unfortunately, in our environment, not everything is agentless. True or false? True. So I use this in my YAML because this is the question that I ask. Needs agent. And I say no. So at that point, am I evaluating the system? But listen how this would change. So Ansible will not need an agent, so the answer is no. But let's say that I'm installing, okay, Sentinel or 14 or Okta. All of those have agents. So at this point, the answer would change to yes, because I'm installing Okta, so yes, I need the agent. Or I'm installing SailPoint, yes, I need the agent. So how would that be of benefit to you? Because now we can go against the playbook that installs the agent for that target app. So this is one that I use commonly, guys. I'm just giving you the ones that I use. The next one that I create and I use is ops. Yeah. And I say true. What am I trying to find out here? Nose up. I know. Don't you love acronyms? I mean, I guess someone could say, object-oriented programming. But yeah, this is organization operations. So if I'm going to go and I require within my workflow, okay, let's say that I'm going to have to have approval from another silo within the operations department, then I can say true or false here. So this could actually be a dehydration of a step within my play. Yes, go ahead.
I was coding that under the OOP because you can come up with a whole bunch of stuff. I would put a pound sign after it and define what OOP is for those that don't know what
sure.
OOP is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so for me it means operations. Okay, silo. Operations, the team in the organization.
Google didn't know what it was.
No, because this is my acronym, if not Google's. Yeah, it's my acronym, it's not Google's. So, and then what I would say is this true will stop the process and wait for approval. So remember on the Ansible server where I say waiting for approvals? There you go. This next one here is more straightforward. So on this next one here, I'm going to say, sometimes you can bring in, like I showed you yesterday, text files. and I want to see if the user has an import that he wants to use. For example, the HR department hired 20 people today. Okay, and they want to create those 20 accounts using the construct on the scenario that I showed you. So I have a form that uses an entry called uses CSV. And then I say false. Now, if the user selects the CSV checkbox in my form, then this becomes true. Then the user will be prompted to upload the CSV. Okay?
So can I ask a question what you're doing?
Yeah.
So you're saying for this Ansible playbook to run, all these things have to be yes, no, true, false.
Well, not just this playbook. It could be multiple. I'm just giving you some examples.
Right.
Okay? But yeah, let's say that you have one entry in a survey that it is called, okay, create user. And the user, the HR person can actually enter first name, last name, all the information, right? Let me show you what I mean. So remember yesterday when we talked about this one, the scenario? So I get to the form and I begin to create the user. Well, this is fine and dandy if I'm creating one user at a time, but how about if I have 20 new employees? So what I can do is with this conditional entry boolean, I can say, do you have multiple users? The answer automatically is false, it's no. So if she clicks the button, which is not here, so let me see, I'll do something easier so you can see it. So I'm going to take this picture here, take a screenshot of it, and then I'm going to come up here. So I'm going to create it here. So let's say that I have, for the sake of argument, let's say that someplace within here I want to create my form, and I'm going to allow this individual, as they go into the form, to actually give me multiple users instead of one at a time. I might have an option here that says, do you want to create multiple accounts? And in the interface, the answer would be yes or no. Okay? So it would be yes and no. So by default, these two little boxes here that I have here, by default, let's say that no is highlighted. Okay? So if the user, I'm going to assume that he's entering one at a time, and the answer is no. So it's default, no. But let's say that the user changes the boxes to yes. Then at that point, I will actually pop up another question in the survey. Do you want to upload a CSV? Okay, so that's another question, and that's what I was just doing right now. That is, oops, sorry, the question right there. User CSV is false right now, and the choice is going to still be false. The individual will have to select. So now we have it true here. So we have it true there. And oops, sorry. Copy. Now, if the answer that they have is true here also, then at that point I'm going to open what? Browse for file. Make sense? Does that make sense, guys?
Got a quick question. So, by answering a certain way of the form, this would allow the playbook to run.
Exactly, because the playbook has those plays in the back. What activated those additional plays was that the user changed it from no to yes.
I'm wondering, and this is just guessing because I'm not at that level how they're going to decide how to allow playbooks to push packages or not. I mean, I assume that would be at one group that does the approvals for things. Oh, I approve this playbook. Oh, has it run in test? Has it run in dev? Has it run in test to get to production, as an example?
Yeah, that could be all. That could be an example to get to production. Yes.
Because I know they're. How are they going to figure that out? I assume they're doing that now, figuring that out.
Yeah.
I don't know if they could use something like this.
Oh, they could. They can definitely could.
I don't know if they are or not.
I'm not sure. Like I said, what I'm showing you is the basics, but I'm also showing you advanced. I've seen very little option, a lot YAML. That's not to say that you guys are not going to do it. It's just that I have not seen it a lot. Okay.
Well, at our level, pushing packages, we're wondering. Right now, it's based on a different group approving. Yes, you did this. We approve it. And you're looking at, have you run it in dev? Have you run it in test? Have you run it? I want to go to production. There's a group that does that.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering how they're going to do it in the new order, the new world of Ansible. We don't know.
They would actually have to create the playbook. They will be very complex. And hopefully, if they know how to write YAML very well, then they will use this. They will use conditionals, they will use Boolean, expressions, etc.
So we are using surveys. Some of the stuff has been used, but when it comes to the playbook, that's on the use case and who's developing that playbook.
Exactly.
And that's the thing is, like I said, a lot of these languages, like Terraform and Ansible and everything, is still relatively new to. So it's going to be at whatever your experience level is in writing your playbooks at that.
You got it. You got it. I mean, I agree with you. Teaching you guys the basics, the intermediate, and the advanced. If you have the chance to write the playbooks, now you have a reference to come back and say, hey, let me write it using what Dr. Garcia said. Let's go ahead and create some, conditional expressions here and see if this works better. Okay.
I think most likely, the playbooks are going to be written by the SME.
Yeah, they could be.
Yeah.
Yeah, but actually, remember, you're being trained. Can we use a survey with conditional Boolean expression? Then now you have an example that you can say, hey, listen, Did you know that we can do this in Ansible? You know, and potentially it can be utilized. So now the next concept should be known. So although this here, the Boolean expressions may not be used in your environment much, the next concept called spanning, you're going to see it. I mean, I'm almost guarantee you that you're going to see it. The multiple line spans. And I'm going to explain to you what do they mean. So these are the two spannings that I'm going to introduce to you. The bar and ignore multiple lines. Both of these are used whenever you see multiple lines using a bar. Span a value into the next adjacent line. For example, include new lines. Now I say span. When I'm actually including new lines, I can go here. This is, make sure that you go all the way in, and then I'm going to say this is what you will see. See? See? When you need to break into multiple lines. Yay! There you go. There we go. This is how we're going to do it when we have to write values into multiple lines and we don't want an error. Okay. We also can ignore lines. So let's say that all these lines will be included in one single task. Let's say that we want to ignore some lines. Oh, and I misspelled this, guys. Sorry, I apologize. New lines. Okay, and I want to say ignore. Now, with ignore, I'm going to do the greater than. And again, I'm going to indent also. I want to be almost under the last 4 characters in my include, because I want to make sure that there's no mistakes, that this is ignore is on this block right here. This is a really good way to ignore a single line when you need more space. However, don't want it as part of the block. Cool. There you go. So sometimes when you see this here, this actually is ignored and this one is include. Okay, so I'm going to say here include ignore. Any questions, guys? Does it make sense so far? So let's combine everything that we learned so far. Dictionary, I'm going to combine the list so you can see it as one playbook. So I'm going to go ahead and begin a new block, and I'm going to say combine everything we learned into one master playbook. Okay. I am going to write it out so you can see it. The first thing, always add a comment and employee record. And now I'm going to say name, and I'm going to say Carrie Shing, job, and I'm going to say developer, and I'm going to say skill, expert,
Does there need to be a skill set or?
oh yes, I have not, I'm sorry, a skill, no. I actually think I have a skill up here. Did I call it a skill all the way through, or just skill set? A skill set, yeah, it has to be skill set. Thank you.
Yep.
Employed, and I'm going to say true. So I'm going to make it true, lowercase. So what is this here? This is my Boolean.
Yep.
So I'm saying here that he is an active employee. Okay? Now, what does Carrie like to eat? Foods. So Carrie's going to like to eat the same thing I love to eat. All the fruits. Make sense, guys? Now I want to say programming languages. Okay. And cool. So far, we are you with me?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Now the only thing is that I need to bring this back inside. These are the programming languages, and I'm going to add a key pair here. So I'm going to say he did list I want to make them an Esper and Fortran also.
Playing up Cherry.
Yeah. But by doing this, notice what I'm doing. I'm actually specifying on the key pair value the level of expertise, right? And now the last one. So now we are going to go ahead and do an include. Now, in order to do the include here, I'm going to do education. Okay? And I was talking to Kerry yesterday, and he loves to study. So at that point, I'm going to go ahead and say, I'm going to go ahead and put some notes here. And then I'm say, I'm just going to create some levels here. GS, GCSE, and then I'm going to create 3 A levels, and then I'm going to say BSc and okay. Now do you see how everything is applied? Does it make sense?
Yeah. It's tedious.
It's not that it's tedious. It's actually very simple, isn't it?
Well, it's simple, yes, but if you had to do this for every employee.
But remember, at this point, if I wanted to do it as a template for multiple employees, guys, what would I have to do here in each one of those? Tell me what I have to enter here to...
Variable.
There you go.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Right? Is that true?
Yep.
What is the advantage of creating the first one in this manner?
It's a template.
It's a template. So if someone tells you that it's difficult to learn YAML, is it really difficult? No. In fact, guys, if you just learn, and this is what I'm trying to teach you, if you learn how to create a dictionary and a key pair, and then combine a key pair with a dictionary, okay, and then you learn to add, so we combine it there, and then you add, you know, you can add the list in different ways, okay, with an abbreviation, so you don't have to write it this way. So basically what we wrote here is the same thing we wrote here. This is called abbreviations. Okay, and you basically understand that you can have the ability to create Boolean expressions, right? And a little bit later, I'm going to publish it into my GitLab also, and these examples will be in my GitLab, and I also publish it on the digital courseware, and those examples will be there for you to follow. Okay.